Tip number 2 is that adaptation is your magic bullet. Every day of the week, this is how you get people to have that great working experience. You want them to be more productive, you want them to be more motivated, more creative, more innovative, then you have got to adapt to their working style. Just like a chameleon adapts to its environment, you have got to be on your toes and constantly be adapting to the things around you. And what you really need to understand for this tip is that everyone that works for you has a different working style. Okay, they all have different styles. They all have different needs. And sometimes you get lucky and your employees have a very similar working style that you do, and you gel immediately without much fuss. Now, sometimes the opposite is true. You end up having a very different working style than the people working for you, and that can take a bit more work. And I should mention, too, that sometimes when you have a very similar working style, oh man, can you butt heads. So they're good and bad to both. There is no right or wrong here. But look, guys, I really like the DISC model for figuring out working style. If you can, take a DISC profile. Work with me on it. I can offer them to you on my website. Have your employees take a DISC profile. We can do some compare and contrast with that. This isn't a sales pitch, but I believe that DISC is fundamentally one of the best tools that you can use to assess your working style. Become really self-aware. Because mindfulness, part of it is just about being hyper self-aware, having that self-mastery over what we do and our impact on others. So understanding your working style is a first step to that, but it's also a great tool to be able to really understand the individual needs of each of your people and to understand that there is no right and wrong. There is no good and bad here. Think about it as an extrovert versus an introvert. Okay? It's not as though there's a right answer to which one of those you want to be. Maybe if you're more introverted, you think you want to be more extroverted and vice versa, but there's really no good and bad here. Working style is the same way. So let me go over some examples of just small things that I've seen impact different working relationships and the ability of managers to provide a great experience for their people. Say you have a really fast-paced style and you're comfortable with making decisions quickly and really just going with your gut. Your employees may be slower to adapt. They may be hesitant to change. They may question the consequences of the decision you're making. If you don't accommodate that, that is going to impair their ability to trust you. And sometimes accommodating that, it doesn't have to be a lot of extra work. It could just be taking a couple of minutes to make sure they understand the why and to make sure you've accounted for their needs and that they feel comfortable with it. And at the same time, be open to what they're telling you, because they may see problems and they may see issues that may get in your way down the road. If you're just dismissing them as being, oh, that person's just afraid of change, then that's not helping you. That's not taking advantage of the resource you have. So that's one of the ways that a conflict can arise when you have two people that are just very different styles in terms of pace. Okay, here's another one. Maybe as the leader of the department, your head might explode when one of your employees sends you a giant spreadsheet filled of rows and numbers and calculations and graphs and all those things. But understand that they're doing that because they thrive on that type of information. They love those spreadsheets. There is nothing they love more to do than sit back with a giant spreadsheet full of numbers, even though that drives you crazy. You just want the bullet points. Okay, that's another conflict I see come up a lot. Your employee can't understand why you aren't looking at their great spreadsheet, and you can't understand why they aren't just giving you the high-level executive summary. Okay, you've got to find a balance. You have to work with both. And those are just two of about 15 billion different conflicts that can arise when you don't understand your working style and the working style of your team. Because at the end of the day, I put a ton of responsibilities on managers in this regard. I so strongly believe that it is your responsibility to take the first step. Now, this is a two-way street. I do believe your employees should be adapting to you in just the same way that you're adapting to them. But at the end of the day, you make more money, you're in the power position. It is your responsibility to live up to that and take the first step to them. Okay, someone always has to take the first step, even if, as in the case of this guy right here, you feel like there's no one coming back. You feel like your employees are just not giving you the same thing back, but this thing takes time. It takes time and it takes consistency, and if you keep reaching out and adapting to them over and over and over and over and over again, they will come back to you. You will receive that back, but if you only do it once, and then you say, oh, this didn't work, well, you're not going to have a whole lot of luck there, because your employee may think you're acting a little weird, but they probably didn't really notice the impact of it. Okay, so this is all about doing things over and over and over and over again, being very consistent about it, and doing it over time. This is going to take 30 to 60 days of consistent behavior for you to get them to really see and to start to change their habits as well. So understand that your responsibility to take the first step, and this is not a quick fix.